On Friday, the not-so-surprising news sailed across the transom that President Trump's Department of Justice moved to dismiss the 5-count bribery case against New York City's fun-loving Mayor Adams. The DOJ cited concerns that the charges were retribution against Adams for criticizing the Biden administration's immigration policies, and that they improperly interfered with Mayor Adams' campaign in the 2025 mayoral election. Indeed, the DOJ letter stipulates that Adams's case will be reviewed again by prosecutors after November's ballot. Hizzoner's many rivals in the mayoral primary were quick to pounce. In particular, Democratic challengers to Adams's left claimed that this prosecutorial pause gives Trump dangerous leverage over Adams. Volubly progressive candidate and state senator Zellnor Myrie insisted the temporary dismissal puts Adams under the thumb and control of Donald Trump until November. And staunchly left-leaning City Comptroller Brad Lander echoed, "It puts the mayor on a tether to Donald Trump every time he harms or threatens New York City." But while it's true that being deeply Trump-aligned can be a liability for Eric Adams here in lefty NYC, his alliances also shore up Adams's tough-on-crime and tough-on-terror image. This may be some advantage at a time when most Democrats in the mayoral primary are floundering when it comes to sounding tough on crime. And at least one likely GOP candidate, Curtis Sliwa, has crime as his only issue. Indeed, no matter what disgusted liberal New Yorkers may feel about DOJ purges or about Trump's transgender policies, the president is clearly committed to getting illegal gangbangers out of America and to getting Hamas terrorists out of Gaza. Even though Trump's graces may come with a taint for Adams, the association may reinforce Adams's image as the guy who will get slashers and murderers out of the subway system. And this could be decisive even among Democrats in the upcoming primary contest. Half the respondents in a Manhattan Institute poll of NYC voters this month cited crime and public safety as their chief concern. New Yorkers are particularly wigged out about random violence, widespread disorder, and the tripling of anti-Semitic incidents last year. Indeed, citizens' outrage over dangerous, repeat criminals roaming Gotham's streets has made reducing recidivism a leading crusade for incoming NYPD Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch. In this atmosphere, NYC voters may actually feel heartened by the idea of a mayor beholden to the commander-in-chief, whose newly unleashed Department of Homeland Security immediately sent rapists and pedophiles out of NYC apartments and straight on out of the country. Compare this to candidate Lander, whose soft-on-crime track record includes using contorted data to argue, dishonestly, that bail reform was not boosting reoffending. He recently consoled New Yorkers stressed out about lack of safety by claiming, "I'm making a commitment to all of you. When I'm mayor, we will end subway homelessness of severely mentally ill people in New York City." Lander insisted he'd accomplish this through a continuum of care and services, some enforcement, but primarily with the path to housing. Sure, guy. But NYC voters, 89% of whom want to expand involuntary confinement for the dangerously deranged, might understandably feel that a mayor aligned with Trump would take a more effective tack. Similarly, Jewish New Yorkers are fed up with a city where chronically criminal anti-Semites remain active on streets and campuses. Just this month, Anas Saleh, who screamed into a packed subway car that it's Zionists' last chance to get out, received no more punishment than bias training and piddling community service. Compare this to Trump's recent intervention in the snail's pace hostage returns from Gaza. Trump's threats of hell to Hamas if captured Israelis are not promptly delivered, contributed to the over a dozen who have returned in recent weeks. No wonder Trump received a walloping 50% hike in support among NY's Jewish voters last November. Democratic Socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani, an assemblyman from Queens, also passionately denounced the DOJ's dismissal of Adams on Monday. Mamdani, who counts emaciated Israeli hostages among perpetrators of genocide, has frequently had to defend himself from charges of anti-Semitism and lamely protesting that New York has a beautiful Jewish population. Who could blame Big Apple voters for finding a tether to President Trump more reassuring than disturbing when it comes to routing out encroaching anti-Jewish threats? Adams's primary opponents can criticize the DOJ's dismissal of his charges all they want.